Right. Welcome everybody to the Forward Club for tonight's town hall. We just have a few announcements to make here. It's not a touch screen.
Gotta get you one of those.
Just to start out, we are just gonna remind you guys that this is a Zoom meeting as well. It is being recorded. If you would like to turn the live transcription on, it is down at the bottom of your Zoom, and you can click the button down there to get it started. And then last reminder is that if any Zoom participants have any questions for Matt and Connor, please type those questions in the chat and we'll get to them in the latter portion of tonight's event. Thank you. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce here Matt and Connor. They'll be kind of leading the town hall tonight. If you guys have any questions, we can get started.
Thanks, Noah. I think we'll start by just making a few comments first about where we are so far. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. We're excited to be in our new Forward Club space. We're in the process of kind of getting the finishing touches done here, and hope this is a space that our fans can use pregame, postgame, and then away matches and throughout the year. We'll try and keep our initial comments brief, and then from there we'll get into questions. So here we are, Jude. I think there's been some positive to take away from the on-field performance so far. I think obviously we'd like to be a little higher in the table, but we have been fairly banged up. We have had a lot of injuries. We've had one game so far where we've had where we would be what I would call healthy, and so we feel good about the direction we're going. We feel good about the guys getting healthy, and we feel good about where we're going to be in October. I think as I compare this to past seasons, I think we've always kind of this time of year just assumed we were going to be okay. We thought we had good talent. We thought we had good coaches, and just kind of assumed come the end of the year, we're going to be fine. And we're not taking that approach this year. We're analyzing everything we do. We're making some changes. I think you'll see some roster additions as we go. And we're going to keep working towards improving this team every game through October and hopefully throughout the playoffs. So to sum it up, obviously we'd hope we'd be in a little better spot, but we do see good signs when the guys, when our core has been healthy. I think we feel good about what we're seeing. And I also think we need to remember, we made a pretty significant change in the offseason, not just from a technical standpoint, but out of 23 roster spots, I believe we have 7 returning from last year. So we have a pretty significant overhaul of the team. It's going to take us a little time to gel, but I think we're starting to see that, and we feel good about the direction we're headed moving forward. So I'm going to turn over to Matt for some initial comments, and we'll get to your questions.
Yeah, thanks, Connor. Obviously, look, guys, I'd be lying if I said it was an ideal start for us. I think if we're being honest, the performances need to be better. I think we've recently started to turn a corner. I think our last 2 games, our expected goals, our performance as a team has improved. Certainly a home win is important, but our home form needs to continue to improve, and I accept responsibility for that. I think to Connor's point, I don't like to make excuses, but I do think it's been nice to see our core group on the field more regularly here in the last couple of weeks. I think that's going to allow us to get continuity. I think that's going to allow us to get results in the league. Really excited. The guys are really excited for this game coming up on the weekend against Greenville, who's at the top of our league. And we also have to just be objective and understand that we're 4 points back. We're 4 points back from first place. So a win on the weekend is massive, and that's the nature of the league that we're in. So we're excited. The players are in a fantastic mindset. The guys are super positive. They care about each other. They work hard every day. I think the mentality has been shown over the last few weeks that we're a resilient group. We didn't give up, even when things were going against us and things were difficult early. So I truly believe that we started to turn the corner in a positive way. And I think, my hope is that we continue to advance and progress, and our performances show that. And, we continue to earn the trust and support of you guys, because that's the most important thing. I said to the guys before the last game against Tucson, we need to earn the support of our fans, of the community. And I think the performance against Tucson showed that. I think it showed that the guys care, that they work hard for the team, and they're embodying the things that we'd like to see. So we feel like we're heading in a good direction. It's not the finished product. but we're certainly positive and hopeful, and we feel like we're heading in a good direction.
Before we open the questions, I just want to talk about a couple of off-field topics. One, we've made some investments in the facility this year. We're excited to have this space open. We've redone some stuff in the block end. And we want to continue to invest in this facility. It's a long-term plan. It's not just a year to year. I think when we opened in 19, we weren't sure how long we'd be here, candidly. We knew after opening day, we had great support, but we weren't sure that this would be a 20 or 30 or 50-year thing. After such an amazing response by the fans of the community, we knew this was a long-term thing. And we're starting to invest in the long term. This space that we're in was storage for almost 90 years and has never been a usable space. And now it is a refurbished usable space. We're investing in the facility for the long term. I know there's a lot more we need to do, and every year we're going to try and do some more to fix up the facility and work on a long-term plan. As far as it relates to community stuff, in the community, we have a day of service on Monday where our entire team and coaching, technical staff, and front office staff will be out in the community at 4 different locations doing service throughout the day and throughout the evening. I think this community has been such an important part of what Forward Madison is. And it's great that we're kind of on the tail end of the pandemic. So now we can get back out in the community and back out, continue engaging. I think the last comment I want to make before we open up the questions, just want to thank all of you for your support. I know we're still coming out of COVID. I know there's still some concerns about gathering in groups. I know we've had some rough weather, but the support's been great. And, we had that nice weather day against Charlotte, and we had 4,000 people here. So if we can just, maybe not have rain in the forecast every game like we do for this Saturday, but rain or shine, the support's been great. We want to thank you all for that. So unless there's any other intro pieces, let's open it up. Who wants to go first? And I will be repeating your question for the folks at home. So just to give you a heads up, as you state your question, we'll relay it to the folks at home. Any questions? All right, the bar is open. Thanks for coming. All right, Melissa.
At that time, the time, since it was in that.
Yeah.
So then the guys were over there, and then, so we had our own engines, it's kind of this thing. So it's next to cab, that's here.
Yeah,
So thank you.
you bet. Appreciate your support over time, and we're excited to be in the space and have it usable. So, Mitch, go first.
Question, and no one's gonna like this question. So, this is more of a question for you, Conor.
Yeah.
League One on the website did not list what the attendance was this past Saturday.
Yeah.
On the article for the match recap, it listed 2 different attendances. One of those attendances apparently was sent to the league, not put on the website, but was reported by Pendleton, aka Fats and Deuce, on Twitter. What was the attendance?
The attendance is 3,070.
3,007. So that is the correct. Okay.
Correct attendance.
Okay.
You heard it from me.
Who needs to know so that it can be put on the match report on USL Wednesday?
I believe the USL needs to know, and we can have our team communicate that to them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Gotta have this.
What's that?
Gotta have it for repeat.
Got it. Are you our Wikipedia editor? All right. Thank you, Mitch. I learn something every day. All right. Yes.
Well, I want to ask about the news. I'm just talking to teams, a good team over there in a couple of years, but you need more of, I guess it's related to you guys. I understand. I think the hierarchy. I guess it's my question is quite simple. Like, how would that affect Florida Madison FC if at all?
Yeah. The question is with the recent news of a professional soccer team coming to Milwaukee, how will that affect Forward Madison? So Jim Kazmarek, who's my partner, along with Bernstein and Steve Schmidt in the operation of Forward Madison, based in Milwaukee. His company, Kazmarek Enterprises, is leading a large development in Milwaukee, a proposed development that includes a stadium, hotel, housing, concert venue, and some additional pieces. And how will that affect Forward? It won't have any direct impact on Forward. The day-to-day operations, nothing is going to change here. I think there is a long-term potential for some cooperation or synergy on a talent development side of things. That project's a few years away. It was just proposed in the West Town District of downtown. But that won't have any direct impact. Things won't change here. I think you'll see, or you have seen that even as we come out of the pandemic, ownership continues to reinvest and invest heavily in the facility, and something we'll continue to do. And what happens in Milwaukee, that'll be a separate ownership setup in a separate operation. There may be some collaboration on a technical side of things, but it won't have any direct impact here. That's a great question. Mitch?
So that would also, that would also mean, since it's a separate ownership, that would mean that we would still continue to be in the open cup.
Mitch's question is with the Milwaukee project, will that impact how Port Madison competes in the Open Cup? As far as I'm concerned, we're going to continue to compete in the Open Cup. I don't see any issue with that at this time. Down the road, that may be something we need to address, but that's pretty far down the road. That's a great question as well. Is that a hand, Liam?
Yeah. This is for Matt, and I guess technically coaching staff as well. With our players coming back and we're now getting that core group, and we've had a lot of those injuries actually sustained outside of game day. And that's kind of sidelined us, you know, injury wise, has been happening in training more so than actually enjoying how we play. Is there things that have been changing about where we're training as we play? Because like 60% of our games are on natural grass rather than turf. You know, the turf is going to be here for a while, so that's not the issue. Are we doing anything to support the players, coaching style, technical style, training style in terms of playing different environments? Or are we all training on the turf still?
Do I have to repeat that question? Should I?
I'll do my,
Yeah.
I'll summarize it and then I'll jump into it. Liam's great question, thorough, but a lot of injuries have come from training. We train on turf here. His question, summarized, is should we be looking at where we train, how we train, to preserve the bodies of our players for more longevity throughout the season?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think some of the injuries, to be fair, did occur in match play. Cassini, Andrew Wheeler, obviously in the Open Cup match against Minnesota, was a pretty devastating one. Derek Gebhard got kicked in training, so that set us back a few weeks. I do think a lot of the injuries that we've had are less a product of the surface. I would say it's more a product of, it's not like we're getting like soft tissue stuff. I think some guys have come in maybe with a couple of knocks, one or two guys have. But more so, I feel like, we've just had a bit of bad luck, to be honest. A couple of guys have been kicked, a couple of guys have rolled an ankle here and there. I do know, I'm working closely with Conor and the rest of the support staff in terms of getting the guys out to some grass pitches, particularly as we get into games like when you go to northern Colorado, it's a longer grass pitch and some of the grass pitches that we play on. So I think it's important to get out and get the guys on some grass for sure. We've got some options there. So it's not something that I'm overly concerned about. I think for the most part, the guys are training well. They're training hard. The training sessions in the last few weeks have been really sharp. So I guess the short answer is I'm not overly concerned about it, but it's something that we're certainly going to monitor, man.
And to that point, Liam, it was something we focused on in the off season, but long term, we need I don't want to say permanent, but a strong secondary facility, preferably grass for training. And we've identified that facility. We're working to improve that facility, get it to the standard where we need to be, and work to get availability there that we can use it regularly. So as we talk about improvements we want to make for the club, they're not just within these four walls. We know that long term, whether it be in April when it's 38 degrees and raining, or even in July, we can't be training 8 months out of the year on this turf. We got to mix it up a little bit. We got to rest, especially the lower bodies of our players. And it's something we've identified a facility. We're working to get more regular time there and hopefully mix up the training. We'll go here and then Mitch.
Improve things a little bit, even the last, couple weeks or so, to see them play through. It doesn't seem like it was.
Yeah. I think the question was related to the mood of the locker room, in relation to results and over the past, month or so. I think, to be honest with you, the mood of the changing room has been, even when the results weren't going our way, it was actually quite good, which I was impressed with. We obviously did we made a conscious effort as a staff to keep that mood high. And one thing that we tell the players is we don't let the highs get too high and we don't let the lows get too low. We spoke about it after the Tucson match. I think the obviously winning a game and getting a result is always a validating feeling for the group. So I could say the spirits are very high at this moment. But even in the moments where we had a couple of tough results go against us, maybe we conceded a crappy goal or whatever the case may be, a mistake here or there. I still think the group has a tremendous amount of belief in themselves and in each other. And I think that's the catalyst for what we're looking to build on. And, in the Tucson game, I think you're starting to see glimpses of the continuity, that's been allowed from having the same group on the field, more or less, maybe minus one or two, plus or minus one or two. So, the Tucson game, we take as a massive stride for us moving forward. We feel like we played sort of forward Madison football, and we feel like we were on the front foot, and we've got to continue, going into the weekend. So yeah, I mean, I think the mood of the guys is great. There's you go in the locker room, there's music blasting, there's jokes, there's laughter. To me, that's a sign of a group that has a good camaraderie and setting in the right direction. Yeah, no, but we're used to it, and honestly, the rain, the guys don't even mind it because the ball moves quick on the surface, and we're a team that wants to put the ball down and play. And so, the rain is not an excuse for us. We, if anything, we almost like it because it allows us to play at a greater pace.
Mitch, Mitch and then Dick.
This one is for Matt now. We have a couple guys, who, I think kind of may have been expecting to see a little more playing time. Alvin Jones and Malay Temple. Alvin, obviously, both of them came into the season late. Alvin now is, he came in time like he had a couple knocks coming in as well. And now he's out with Trinidad and Tobago on national team duty. Malay, I know I've seen him, like pictures and out in community and stuff, but haven't seen a lot of either guy on the pitch. Is there anything that you can say about it? Where they're at and how do you handle specifically Alvin bringing him back? Is there a plan for how to bring him back from national team?
Yeah, a good question. Mitch is asking about the reincorporating Alvin Jones back from national team duty and also the role of Alvin and Malay Temple. So Mitch, Malay came in and had a little bit of a knock, had a little bit of a hip issue. And so he's been working through that with our UW health staff, and he's got to a point now where he's back in full training, which is great to see. Obviously, Malay, we brought Malay in as an important part of our back line. So it's nice to see him back on the pitch, finally starting to get healthy and training again. Regarding Alvin came in with a knock as well. And he sort of was just starting to get into fitness. So the game we won away at Richmond, he played a significant amount of minutes. And now he's obviously gone back with the national team. Part of the process of recruiting international players is, they get called back to the national team. He played a significant amount of minutes against the Bahamas the other night, and they're in Trinidad's 1-0 win. So we've been communicating with him. JP's had sort of been communicating with him from a physical productivity standpoint. But he's training full on with their national team. And what I said to Alvin before he left was, Alvin, come back in a better fitness state than you were when you left. And I think that's the key. He's playing minutes, he's training at a high level there in Trinidad. So when he comes back towards the end of next week, we expect him to sort of fully integrate. We don't expect there to be a period where we have to get him fit again. He's playing minutes, he's training at a high level. And the idea is he comes back and competes for minutes straight away. And the more we can incorporate these guys into our team and make it competitive for spots on the team and the starting 11, I think the better off our group is.
Dave?
Thanks. Taylor Bailey is great. So I think it was actually today about it. Well, sorry if you're in this, work together.
Yeah, so the question is related to Taylor Bailey. He was recalled. I think was it released today? He was recalled back to Oakland Roots, his parent club. So we signed Taylor Bailey on a season-long loan from Oakland Roots. The idea and the agreement was to have Taylor, Oakland wanted to get him some more opportunities to play competitive minutes in games and compete a little bit more. Oakland had a player on loan, a goalkeeper on loan from a team in Mexico in Liga MX. And so the way that it happened was the idea was that Taylor was going to be with us for the rest of the season and competing with Phil and Parker for minutes. What ended up happening, and we kind of knew there was an outside chance of it, but we thought it was going to be more of a slim chance. What ended up happening was that the team in Mexico recalled the Oakland goalkeeper. And so by trickle down, the sort of trickle down effect was that Oakland now recalls Taylor, who's a fantastic goalkeeper. And he's obviously come in and done a great job for us on the weekend. We're welcoming Phil back this week. So, we have a lot of confidence in Phil. Parker and Phil have a good working relationship. They push each other. We're excited to have Phil back. It's obviously tough to lose a player of Taylor's caliber, but we have full confidence in Phil, and we feel like we're in a good spot there.
And we should mention too, Phil was unavailable for selection this weekend, away with addressing the family issues. So we're excited to have Phil back. He's back on Monday and he's been training all week. Mitch.
Related to that, I remember, talking a lot, mentioned that with Taylor coming in on loan, that this was something that had been planned since even before the season started. Now that Taylor is now going back to Oakland, is there any discussion about bringing in a different keeper on?
Sure. Mitch's question is related to, will we be looking to bring in an additional goalkeeper on loan? Yeah, to answer your question, Mitch, the plan from day one was to bring in someone to compete with Phil. We feel like Taylor is doing that, but we also feel like, we felt like Taylor was maybe a way to make that situation more competitive. To answer your question in short, if the right guy becomes available, yes, we would be looking to bring someone in, but we also have a lot of confidence in Phil. Phil's second in the league in saves. He's done an admirable job. So either way, we feel like we're in safe hands, but also, if the right player comes available and we feel like we can get more competitive in that position, we will. And that goes for any position, because, it's a belief of mine and my staff's that we want competition for places, and we don't want guys to be comfortable. It's important that we have competition and good players fighting for places in the team.
It kind of seems like there's not a number one best player. Do you think the next version of that is here? Already, do you think they're going to have to reach out for different person?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. The question was, there's a gap in question is, there appears to be a gap in the club right now from Conor Turbo not being here any longer. The question was, we've done a nice job replacing him on the field, but we're not doing enough in the community yet. Eric Leonard stepped up into a community role. In his agreement, he actually does, between 8 and 10 community appearances a month, and he's on track with that. I think, Tobin did an amazing job in the community. He did a great job in his 3 years here building relationships in the community, both pandemic and non-pandemic. And that's not something from a player standpoint that gets fixed overnight. It takes time. And so, Eric is our lead in the community. I do think, we've met with the group several times about their community efforts and what they want to see in the community. And, I think one of the guys actually took a video of it, but we put up a sign-up board in the locker room on Monday with 40 different community appearances that need to be filled. And within 15 minutes, it was filled. And so these guys have the spirit. They want to get engaged. I think that's coming. And as I mentioned, we're doing a day of service on Monday, where every player will be out in the community doing community service. And I think you'll see a lot more of that. You know, Conor Tobin's a really hard, he's unique. He's not going to be replaced in lower division soccer. We have to find a way as a club to continue to engage the community and get out there. And whether it's Eric Leonard taking the lead or all 23 players getting out there, we have to do that. And that's a priority. That's something you'll see. That's something you'll see from the players and coaches, but I think you'll see the organization over the next 90 days making some significant announcements on longer term community plans as well. So it is a focus for us. You know, if you haven't seen it yet, you will be seeing more here soon. But that's a great question. Kelly, I think you've been patiently waiting.
I was cheering on the.
Oh, got it. I'm sorry. Troy. All right. Yes, Eric Leonard Fan Club, the only 4-year Ford Madison player. And yeah, Eric's been great in the community and is going to continue to do more, but it needs to be more than Eric as well. And it has been, and it will continue to be. Troy?
Partway through this first season, Matt, observations on League One and any surprises?
The question was related to, you know, my observations on League One and, you know, any surprises as it pertains to the league. I think, you know, I think the league is just as competitive as advertised. I mean, if you look at the table right now, the parity is incredible. I think anyone, in my opinion, anyone can beat anyone on any given night. I think you see a lot of 1-goal games, a lot of draws. I think it's down to, and it wasn't something that I didn't anticipate, to be honest. I expected it to be competitive. I think with the travel, with the geography of the league, with the, you know, just the sort of the parity just in general in terms of, you know, what teams have to work with. I think, you know, no surprises on my end. I just think for us, honestly, it's down to the fine detail, and we've got to do a little bit better job of dealing with critical situations and critical moments. And that's sort of been the story of our season. So, you know, we feel like if we can sort of change that narrative towards more of a bounce goes this way for us rather than against us. A critical decision in this moment goes our way instead of the opponents. We feel like we're in a situation where we have the talent, where we have the culture, and we have the right group of guys who are gonna get it done. So yeah, the league is fantastic. It's super competitive. I think we're all, look, it's a learning process for all of us. There's a lot of new guys in our organization, you know, to the league, but I also think that we have the right guys, and as we continue to evolve, we feel like, you know, we're just as competitive as anyone else.
I think we will, just because we've been here 3 years. You still kind of reintroducing who you are, but as a league that's just involved in, you know, this 2018, but now you got the teams from Colorado, just because the whole country, you know, I said I was from the school in the 90s where they were putting soccer in the curriculum because school, you know, so it's definitely a presence here. It's definitely big as we need some, anyways, but just having that band and interest, just having the interest in that, don't want. But just have something exciting, for 2 hours, they're happy. You know, same thing for Madison, like it just helps to have these teams here because it's our generation. We were playing this people, this was basketball. Which is because a lot of our kids learn basketball. This is what we have to play. So yeah, I think we're in the right track.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, there's only good things coming. I think you're going to see continued growth in League One. Fresno and Colorado were at this year, and I think you'll see Lexington next year and even potentially more in 23 or 24. Liam, and then and we've got plenty of time for folks here, and then those of you at home, we're taking your questions. We'll get into those once we're done with the folks that are here. Liam, go ahead.
Saturday, you got a yellow card.
He didn't get
a mistake.
Did you get the yellow?
Not yet. Yeah, there you go. She's ready.
I was gonna say, if you want to get the light on.
Can you tell us exactly what you said, word for word? Yeah, probably.
Wasn't the
The question was, Matt got the yellow card. Matt, can you repeat what you said? Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, look, no, because the referees, we all know, we all know, and I don't want to go into that, but what I would say is that what we're looking for is consistency, and what we're looking for as a coaching staff is the ability to give our players the correct information to behave accordingly in the game. And so if the game is being called a certain way, you know, we want to help our players get through the game without getting a yellow or getting sent off. And so I just felt as though, you know, in my opinion, it was a clear penalty on Cassini in the first half. which would have changed the complexity, the complexion of the game. And then I felt like Abdu got a meaningless yellow card that there was nothing there. And so I felt like I had to stand up for the player in that moment. And look, it's not something that I'm particularly proud of, getting warned by the official, but sometimes as a coach, you have to protect the players. And that's what I felt like in the moment. So.
There are other positions that would not be a person now. We're still, have room on the roster or other areas you still don't have.
Sure. The question was related to, if there were any other sort of additional positions we were looking to fill, in terms of in the squad. The answer is at this moment, not really. And it needs to be whatever position it is for me, it needs to be the right guy. It needs to be, someone who embodies what we want, is going to fit into our locker room, because we have a fantastic locker room at the moment. And it's got to be someone who's clearly going to come in and help. But at the moment, I'm extremely happy with what we have. That's not to say we won't make additional roster additions as we move forward. I can say that we've recently agreed to terms with a center defender. His name's Christian Dean. Has actually just got approved today. So Christian Dean comes to us with an MLS and USL championship background. Christian's going to be adding depth in competition to the center back spot. Outside of that, at this moment, I'm pretty happy with where we're at.
Are you like Madison, or are you fitting in the community?
Yeah. The question is how am I finding Madison? No, I really like Madison. If I'm being 100% honest, not only with the sort of the start of the season, but also with just the sort of what our schedule's been and the amount of hours that are required. I haven't really had a great chance to like fully explore. It's been sort of office home. But my partner Sarah and I live over in the Willie Street neighborhood. We love it. We've done a couple of bike rides, gotten around to some of the local places, and we love it. The lakes, the weather started to turn. We're finding it great, and obviously the support from both the ownership group, the community in general, and the fan base has been fantastic. So we're over the moon to be here in Madison. We love it.
Awesome. We're just going to take a quick 5-minute break just to let some people come up and grab drinks if they want it, and then give these two a little breathing area to grab a breath here. So we'll be back in a little bit to start our second round of questions, and those will be our virtual questions, and then we'll wrap up with some more in-person questions if you guys so need.
So 6:10, thanks everybody for at home for just hanging on for a few minutes here, and we'll join you in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Button down there. Perfect.
All right.
How you doing, Zach? Doesn't matter. Hi, Neil. Kristen, how have you been?
Good.
Nice seeing you. Well, how are you?
I know, good.
Thanks. Everything good? Oh, yeah, thanks.
I've been in here.
Thanks. Yeah, we still have some finishing touches, but
Looks pretty good.
yeah, we're
I
getting.
mean, compared to last year.
Were you in here before?
Like I helped with the news, but I don't think they know what to do or something.
Yeah. Down in- You should go look down in here. No, it's down.
Oh, is this a different? I get them confused.
Hi. We're just going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll bring them back out. Sound good?
Yeah. that's, yeah. Are you watching home now? Well, last week's window was-
Thanks. Thanks, Eric. Feel good about it. Just right through the hall. Yeah, right through the hall.
That's all right, folks, so you guys can go ahead and meet with we'll go ahead and get started on the second half of the event tonight.
All right, we'll let these folks wrap up here really quick. I'll go ahead and get started on our questions from virtual. The first question being from Matt Hugh. Coach, besides Phil Brino, who has been most important to, or who has been most happy, or who have you been most happy with the performance in the defense, midfield, and forward lines?
Yeah, Phil certainly, in the back line, I think Mitch and Eric have been our sort of stalwarts. I think consistent performers, week in and week out. So certainly pleased with them. I think, sort of at the wing back position, Mikey Maldonado's been fantastic for us, on both sides of the ball. He works, he runs, he can break opponents down on the dribble. He can defend, so we're looking forward to Mikey's growth and progress. Andrew Wheeler in the middle of the park, of course, when he's been healthy for us, is one of our co-captain and a guy who's an engine for us in the middle of the field, breaking up plays, running box to box, doing the work in the 90th minute. He's been fantastic, a vocal leader for us. And then certainly in the front three, Nazem's our leading scorer. He's got 3 goals, I believe, and assist. Nazem's been fantastic. He comes in, he has a bit of flair, a bit of the blonde hair flair. He can get around people, he can finish. He's been fantastic, and then obviously as more guys come into the fold, we're looking to get consistent performances out of Cassini and Abdu and Jeremiah. So we feel like we have a strong group from back to front.
All right, next question is from Harry Lees. Is there a worry forward Madison must improve performances to continue to grow its fan base? And what is the club actively doing to achieve this?
Say it again, important for us to.
So is there a worry that Forward Madison must improve performances to continue to grow its fan base? And what is the club actively doing to get to achieve this?
Well, to improve our performance, I mean, we continue to invest in the technical side, player side, and I think, we've made a lot of investments. We've retooled quite a bit. I think the most important virtue on the technical side right now from ownership is probably patience. We need to take a deep breath and let things play out a little bit. We believe in what we have from a technical staff. We believe in the team that's been built, and we think it's going to play out. So, as far as from a performance standpoint, we got to continue to add pieces as needed, but then let Matt and his team do their thing. And I think, any business can always continue to grow the fan base. I think winning's part of that, but I think, we need to continue to create an atmosphere here that people enjoy coming to. And, we are, and you're seeing this at several event spaces and sporting teams across, especially in Madison, but across the country, that you are still coming out of COVID. There are a small part of the population that isn't quite ready to come back. And we need to keep creating reasons for people to come to the matches. And I think from a business standpoint, we feel really good so far about the performance of the business as we come out of COVID, and we're on a good trajectory for the rest of the year. Winning always helps, but from a partnership, merchandise, and overall ticket sales standpoint, we're definitely feeling very good compared to our 19 numbers, and where we need to be to be a sustainable club in USL League One.
This question's from Cody Sheehy. We have already kind of answered this question, but we'll go over it one more time for you. Are there any insights from the team that you can share on the Taylor Bailey recall by Oakland? Just really quickly answer.
Yeah, just quickly answer. We'd hope to have Taylor for the entire season. That was the arrangement with Oakland. Taylor was able to be loaned to us because Oakland got a player on loan from Liga MX. That player was unexpectedly recalled. When that player was unexpectedly recalled, then Taylor was unexpectedly recalled from us. So we have Phil and Parker from a goalkeeper standpoint. And if the right keeper comes available, we'll look to add to make sure we've got a strong group back there.
Wonderful, thank you. This one comes from David Magnus. How has the short-term and long-term vision of the club changed in the past year or so?
Flamingo, thanks for chiming in. It was great to see you last weekend. Appreciate you bringing the family. Always good to see you here or when we're down in Florida. I think the the vision of the club, I don't think the vision of the club has changed in the last 6 months, but I think the vision of the club, once we got through 21, we kind of knew we made it through the pandemic. And we kind of, as ownership, realized that, if we're gonna make it through the pandemic, we, not that we, I don't want to say we can make it through anything, but we know this club's gonna be here a long time. And we were able to kind of weather the storm, make it through the pandemic as a business and be able to commit to essentially 20, 30, 40-year investments in the club. And that's off the field. On the field, we knew we had to kind of retool, invest more and create a better support structure on the technical side. And so we're in the process of doing it. There's still some pieces we need to add from an infrastructure and support standpoint, but we have come a long way. We have a much larger technical staff than we had 6 months ago. We're doing meals and other kind of amenities to improve the player experience. And there's a lot more investment on that side of the business, and we're going to continue to focus on that experience to make sure that Madison's a competitive market long term in USL League One.
The next one comes from Harry Lees again. He is asking this time, Matt, can you talk about your vision and play style of the club? Historically, people have criticized us for playing rather slow and conservative. You said last week was forward Madison football in quotation marks. What do you see that being?
Yeah, good question. I think it is what we showed last week. I think it's a high rate of play, a quick pace, speed of play across the back line, looking to play between the opponent. I think we were able to find our underneath forwards quite a bit in time and space that allowed us to progress the ball, that allowed our wing backs to get running. We want to play at a high velocity. We want to advance the football. We want to get into the opponent's half. We want to create more chances in them. And that's what I think we've done, create more quality chances. And that's what we've done against Tucson. And we want to continue to replicate that. But the idea is that we play quickly, we play on the front foot. We're the protagonist, especially at home. And then on the defensive side of the ball, we're difficult to break down. We try to make the game predictable. We try to be organized. And we try to create, again, it's all about creating more better chances in the opponent. And that's what we're about. And I think that's what Forward Madison football embodies.
Awesome. This one's from the Stinging Horn Nick. What happened to Josiah Trimmingham?
What was the question?
Let me repeat that one more time.
It's an imposter.
The Stinging Horn Nick with the question, what happened to Josiah Trimmingham?
It's a good question. The question, what happened to Josiah Trimmingham? What did happen to Josiah? How did it unfold last year? We made an offer to Josiah. He decided to pursue other opportunities. The last I heard, he was in training with that USL Championship club or in a trial, and I think he's still looking for the right opportunity and the right fit for the 2022 season.
This one comes from Evan. Matt, do you attribute Nazem's recent run of form to his hairstyle change?
If only it was that easy.
Yeah. Nazem's hairstyle change equal to form. Maybe. Look, some guys have different motivations, but I honestly think, look, Nazem is one of the things too. The reality is that Nazem and Abdu are practicing Muslims, and they went through, based on their religious beliefs, the month of Ramadan. And so on an athlete, that takes a toll on your body. Fasting throughout the day, not being able to hydrate and eat, it's something that I think was a factor in some of their health and performances. And I think now we're coming out of that. Both of those guys are just, they have a bit more about them, and so I think we're seeing Nazem as himself rather than, to be honest, a professional athlete who's been fasting for a month. So I think that's a big reason. And I also think he's confident. I think Nazem's a fantastic player. And when he's in a good mental space and he's feeling confident and starting to understand his teammates, we feel like he's going to be an incredible player for us.
Awesome. Just one more question here virtually, and then we can open up back to the floor here. This one comes from Kevin Anderson. What happened to the connection with the Chicago Fire? Do we still have it? If not, what happened?
Kevin, thanks for the question. You know, in the last 6 to 12 months since I guess June of last year, there's been some changes as it relates to the relationship between the USL and the MLS. The MLS has created a lower division, MLS Next Pro, and I believe 20 MLS teams have teams participating in that league. So players that at one time were maybe available to come on loan to teams like Ford Madison are now populating those MLS Next Pro clubs. And that loan relationship or affiliation relationship, I should say, that we had the first 2 years with Minnesota United and then last year with the Chicago Fire, those agreements are no longer happening between MLS and USL clubs. I think I heard a stat the other day that last year there was 50 permanent loans from MLS clubs to USL clubs as far as players being loaned, 50 players being loaned. This year that number is under 10. So there's a lot less collaboration between USL and MLS clubs. That relationship did serve us well. I said that wrong. We have Minnesota in year 1, Fire in years 2 and 3. But that won't be something that's happening moving forward. And that's why we've added to our player payroll and plan to source all 23, 24 spots on our own without any assistance from other clubs. Is there other local questions here in the room? Mr. Keith Tiemeyer, who's gracing us with his presence tonight, handles all of our travel and the ever-changing travel and the increasing flight costs. Keith gets to manage all that. That'll be the day. Yeah, that'll be the day. The question was, do we have a charter plane? That didn't make the 22 budget. I'm pretty sure it didn't make the 23 or 24 budget either. But we have the league has a travel company that the teams are required to work through if there are weather or flight cancellations. And so we work with the league on that and have a kind of a group of travel folks that assist in our travel. The way travel works, we're responsible for getting there and ground transportation. Opposing team provides 2 nights of hotel for the team that's visiting. Unfortunately, it's been a lot of guys lately. Given this current travel climate and much fewer planes, we're getting more middle seats. I hear that a lot. I don't know how we can change that, but if anybody knows anybody over at Dane County Regional, let us know because we could use a few more aisle and window seats. That'd be great. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a great question. What does the space look like on game day? So we're in the new Forward Club space, and so our plan, and this will start this Saturday. So with a 7 o'clock match, 6 o'clock gates of the stadium, this space will open to the public at 4 o'clock. From 4 to 5:45, it'll be open to the public. If you're in here at 5:45, you'll be able to enter right into the stadium, or if you'd prefer to go out into the neighborhood and then come back later, you can do that. But from 4 to 5:45, this will be open to the public. When gates to the stadium open at 6, it'll be for our Forward Club members. So the folks that have purchased tickets on the field, they'll have access to this space with food and drink during the game and then access to the field. And then, after the final whistle is blown, this will open back to the public and will be open into the night. We won't be open any later than midnight at any given time, but this will be open pre and post game. I think we're excited for that, but I think we're equally excited for, on June 19th to open this for watch parties. We'll be doing a Juneteenth event with the Featherstone Flamingos, which we're excited about. There'll be a little kind of town hall forum in advance of our game against Tormenta. And then we'll be in here watching the game for the first time. We'll be watching an away match. And so not only will it be for Madison game days, home game days, road games, but then also we'll be doing, soccer watch parties for non-Ford Madison matches. We're really excited about later this year, the World Cup, doing kind of food themes to match the upcoming matches. but we'll be doing plenty of matches, US men's and women's national teams, and plenty of matches in advance of that. We'll be publishing a full schedule in the next week, and look forward to having everybody down here to check it out. One more question from Liam.
It's on actually using this space. Last week I was lucky enough to get in here early enough, otherwise there was lines all the way into the stadium and the weather, it was difficult to have people in here and get that turnover so everyone could experience it. Is there plans to kind of alleviate that? And we were like 3 deep at the bar, so it was just try with the soft opening, it was challenging.
Yeah, so a good question was about capacity. We kept capacity below our legal capacity as we opened the space, just to kind of see how it worked. It was not something we promoted heavily. In the first time we could actually be open. So yes, we will work to increase the rate of service, and we will come closer to our legal capacity this Saturday and moving forward. So we'll do our best to accommodate everybody, and hope everybody can get in here and get a chance. And if you're not actively buying beer, we're going to ask you to leave so others can come in. No, I'm kidding, but we are going to. I think your point's valid, Liam. We want to have kind of a soft opening, and we'll make sure everybody gets in here and enjoys the space.
Just have one more question from a virtual person here. We often talk about the development of the players throughout the season. Matt, can you talk about the growth of the technical staff throughout the season so far?
Yeah, regards to the technical staff, I think I knew what I had when I hired these guys. Our technical staff is fantastic. For me, it's one of the best in the league. We have experience. We have guys a guy like Neil who knows the league, who played at these levels for a long time, who can relate to the players very closely and does a ton of things for us. JP obviously has MLS experience, has a great background in both goalkeeping and sports science. So he's been a fantastic resource for us to help us manage the player loads and help with the development of Phil and Parker and obviously Keith, on the director of operations side, has a background in soccer. So having someone in an operations role who knows the game has been fantastic. Our kit man D-Train is a young gunner. He's learning the biz and coming along quite nicely. So and Jim Launder, obviously, I couldn't forget to mention Jim. Jim's experience is instrumental. He's the one who pulls me aside and keeps me from ripping people's heads off. He's a calming voice, an experienced guy who knows he's like a soothsayer. So we have a great staff. I think it's well balanced. We've got all personalities, all types and ages, and I'm thrilled with the staff, and I think it will continue to grow and improve.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to thank you guys for coming out to the virtual and in-person town hall here today. That's all we got for questions. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone. We'll keep the bar open for a bit here, and appreciate everybody actually coming